I've got 5 tiers here: regional champions, regional contenders, frequent top cut, occasional top cut, local champions. In the past, I've always done 10 characters in each of the tiers just to have it be an even top 50. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to go 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. That'll still equal 50, but it's more in line with my beliefs, where I truly think there's only like 6 characters up here in the regional champions box. And 8 characters in the regional contenders. That's 14 combined that I truly think have a chance at winning the webcam regional. I'll kick it off right away with Murio. I think Murio got a lot better with Momotaro's kit. If you're playing 6-hand size aggro deck, this character is the best in the format. I don't think there's a question. Basically, this is Phantom Threat. There is no better aggro opening attack than Phantom Threat. It's going to clear itself so that you can attack more on turn 2, turn 3 without having a clogged card pool. It's going to get super fast to force your rival to use up their defenses very early in your attack string. Either they'll have to use their reset or they'll have to commit down their Strage early. Now he got to pair it with Armor of the Wolf, which feeds into Phantom Threat, saying +1 damage from the momentum. Then Phantom Threat gets to respond for +1 speed. You can use Steaming Sphere, first quirk activation, to get your Armor of the Wolves in your momentum very quickly. Phantom Threat clears itself from the card pool, going to momentum. Armor of the Wolf has Powerful 3 and EX3, so Phantom Threat feeds into Armor of the Wolf. There's a lot of synergies here. We have a lot of ways to cheat momentum right now. Murio is your best 6-hand size aggro character, and I suspect that you will be seeing a lot of this character at the webcam regional. If you are not ready, you will just get blown up early. Next up, if I can find him, is Overhaul. We got Murio's buddy. They will always be together until something is done about the characters. Oh, look at him. He was just right over here, and I was missing him. Overhaul is still very, very good. He will almost always be the best character on these 3 symbols. The evil symbol and the earth symbol are both top 3 symbols in the game right now. I think I would go evil, earth, water, death as my top 4. I think those 4 symbols have really pulled away from the others. And now he got a really silly attack in Rando Spirit Gun to where he can use his ignore progressive twice. I don't know how good Rando Spirit Gun is actually going to end up being, but it seems like it's going to be cracked in Overhaul. If there's any character that's going to make that attack worth it, it's going to be Overhaul. Next up, we have our World Champion, Endeavor 3. He is very aggro like Murio, but he's more like turn 4, turn 5 aggro, where he gets to turn on the +2 speed and +3 damage. There's not many characters in the game that can deal with +2, +3 on every single attack, and he's going to be grabbing his best attack from his remove from game pile, whatever he needs in this situation. Did you build into Deadlock? He'll go get Prominence Burn plus Ultra and do the Deadlock +2 speed on everything. He can go grab Twisting Azure Inferno and ignore progressive. He can go grab Hell Spider, and if he cycled, everything's getting +1 speed, +1 damage. There's a lot of versatility here with this character. He just adds 5 stats for free after he mills, and then he becomes a 7-hander. I think he also got a lot of support with the Trigun deck that just came out. He got Avoiding Conflict, the action to play. He can use that with like Twisting Azure Inferno. He got that one attack that says mill 4 off the top of your deck. He got a lot of support here. He's going to be very, very good. Let's jump into some YuYu Hakusho characters. I'm going in order of hand size, by the way, on each of these. I'll start with my 5-handers, go to my 6-handers, go to my 7-handers. So I don't have any 5-handers in my regional champions area. We got 3 more characters here. I'm going to go to YuYu Hakusho, and we are going to pull in Younger Toguro. I don't think there's any question here. I don't think anybody's surprised. This character is nuts. Younger Toguro, he's going to ignore progressive, build down. He can force his rival into deadlock. He plays a really nice long game. There is no maximum on his damage. So once he's at 10 foundations, he's getting +5 damage. If he's at 20 foundations, he's getting +10 damage on everything. I think he plays a really, really nice long game. I think in the early game, I'd rather be Murio. In the mid game, I'd rather be Endeavor 3. But in the long game, I'd rather be younger Toguro. I think he can be strong early. If his rival messes up, he can definitely punish you early. All you really need is +2 or +3 damage on all of your attacks if they're all hitting. That's probably going to be good enough to win you the game. But he scales really well to where, +8, +9 damage on everything. Eventually, you can break down their wall. The death symbol has Ore Strike, Deadlock, force them to discard 3 cards. That's crazy. You get Vile Seizing, of course. Death and Evil got some of the best spam foundations. On Death, he gets access to the combo of Snack Time and Frightening Calm. Now every single one of his attacks is staying stunned 2. Eventually, you're stunned out. He's giving 8 damage on everything. Younger is so hard because it's just every turn he just keeps on coming. Every turn feels like an absolute battle to stay alive. And then he just comes right back and right back and right back. He just wears down your defenses. I don't understand why they gave him 32 health. I don't understand that at all. Why does this character have more health than a lot of 5-handers? I don't get it. I don't get it. Next up from YuYu Hakusho, I'm also going to take Jin and put him up here. This one might be a little bit of a hot take. I've seen a lot of players sour on Jin recently, but there is just no way this guy's not top 5 in the game, in my opinion. Response speed, +2 or -2 speed, sometimes +3 or -3, and he gets to cancel something on a rival's attack. That will always be very, very strong. I like the void symbol on him because you draw a ton of cards. You have a lot of access to different cancels. You have access to the best flash moves. The void symbol is where I've been having the most fun. The air symbol, you get his best dunks with Falling Skies and Walk the Dog. And then on the life symbol, I think is probably where he's best. He doesn't get as good of attacks as the other symbols, but he gets Command Pigeon Flock. And Command Pigeon Flock can build in Masho Concealment. You get a lot of ways in life to give like +1 damage to things. He's going to be represented, and he's going to see results. Next up, we have Tamaki Amajiki as I think the best 7-hander in the game right now. Also benefits from Momotaro's kit and everything that can go into momentum. Face up. Armor of the Wolf is crazy in this character. You can just from all the enhances that you're playing, make it huge. Then you can use then you can Powerful 3 and make it huge. And then you can use Amajiki's, stack the damage on it and make it huge. You can make it into some massive lethal dunk 3 times over. Really, really difficult for your rival to play around. Got a ton of support. Sure, Chaos did lose its best 0 diffs with Requesting Assistance and Release. But the Chaos symbol is still a very, very strong defensive symbol, and you get access to Protecting Yukina. Now you can combine that with Incredible Display, where you block with it, take no damage, discard a momentum, then pick it up with Incredible Display, use it again, so he gets a lot of throw hate. He can, for example, like block Murio's lows using that combo. Chaos symbol, still very strong, one of the best. I'd put it in like that tier 2, right below Earth, Death, and Water. I put the evil symbol right there. The Chaos symbol right there. He's probably very, very strong on Water now, too. The Water symbol's probably cut up to the Chaos symbol for Amajiki. In the past, we saw Amajiki's almost purely playing Chaos. I'd be interested to see what people come up with on the Water symbol for him. But I think he's the best of the 7-handers, and we're going to be seeing a lot of them. Okay, from here, we're going to jump into our regional contenders. Let's kick it off with some 5-handers. I think Recovery Girl is a character I'm very, very high on right now. All of this damage reduction in Water is crazy. You got Toughest Punk in Junior High. You have Weapon Clash to build in. You can use resets with Broken Psyche that you can build in. Referee Jury with Struggling with Studies combo. I'll take it down to 4. I'll pick it up with Struggling. I'll force you to commit 1. I'll pick it up with Struggling with Studies. By the way, I'll just build in Struggling with Studies. If I use Referee Jury, I'll just use Recovery Girl's Response to build in Struggling with Studies. So once I have that Referee Jury in hand, I've got the combo. I don't have to have built the Struggling beforehand. On the attacks, you get sword get longer, build 3 foundations. Now you're just going to destroy 2 of them to give something throw. You're going to be working with all that momentum for Broken Psyche resets. Weapon clash, you can always flip and build in a foundation and then just blow up those foundations for throw. There's so many things going on here for Recovery Girl. The one weakness she has is that we just gave Younger Toguro a 2-check that says commit your rival's character. And I don't know how she lives through that. So it's hard to say that she's a regional champion when there's such a glaring weakness of Younger is just going to commit her down, and then there goes Grandma. Okay, another 5-hander here. I've got Byakko. This character is kind of similar to Recovery Girl in that he's just a massive, massive pain to deal with. We have 38 health, and he is applying huge pressure to your stage, forcing you to flip everything. We now have that like double overhead reversal, the attack that says you have to flip a foundation as a cost to block it. That's like unblockable a good half the time in Byakko. He gets access to Tiger Scream, which is just this insane dunk move. He gets access to Thunderous Roar, where he's going to give his attack like 20 speed at some point. Almost everything's getting 5 damage. He reminds me a lot of Nomu. Although the difference is here, if you're really, really aggressive, you can kill him early. And he is a 5-hander, so if you have access to things that can basically take away one of his attacks, like if you're Kurama and you can say, let's just get rid of that attack. If you have that Cape of No Return, get rid of an attack, Genkai's Guidance, he can be kind of weak to that since he's a 5-hander. There's not like just no ways to interact with this character, but he's very, very difficult, and you're going to have to do it without a stage. And after turn 2 or turn 3, when you have this entirely face-down stage, it will be very, very difficult to keep this character from killing you. That's going to do it for our 5-handers. Let's jump into our 6-handers. We have Hawks coming up here for regional contenders. I think last format, this guy was here. I think he's dropped down just a little bit. It's not necessarily that he got worse. It's just that the format is not very nice to him right now. He doesn't have a way, like he can survive against Younger for several turns, but he has a tough time dealing that 32 damage. It feels like with the Hawks Younger matchup, a lot of times it's like, okay, whew, I survived that one. All right, can I do it again? Repeat every single turn, because it's going to take you 4 or 5 turns to be able to kill Younger. And eventually Younger just gets Hawks. That's how I feel about it. I feel like Amajiki probably just plays the long game a little bit better than Hawks. He has trouble killing people. He does get Spirit Sword Ultimate, which is like the new Recipro Burst. You can use it on the good symbol, like if you're worried about like Barrier Shield, Runaway, or things like that. You can use like BMI Buster early so that you have it online to cancel an action, and then play your Spirit Sword Ultimate and make it huge. On the good symbol, you're getting like Dimension Sword to grab all of his kit as weapons. And Dimension Sword is incredible when it becomes a 7 mid-4 that grabs a weapon into your hand. If they're not going to be blocking it, you can swap it with Hawks and make it a 7 damage move. On the order symbol, he got Walk the Dog, he got Ice Sword Execution, he got Mop Strike. There's a lot of things he got this set. He just struggles to kill people, and that's going to keep him down here. Next up, we have Nicholas D. Wolfwood. He turns on Twisting Azure for free, giving +3 damage. He's going to heal himself. He's basically an 8-hander with 34 health. If you can't keep him off of his momentum, what better snack time character than Wolfwood, who is an 8-hander? He does not care about discarding his hand to get stun 1. Pretty soon that Frightening Calm snack time combo, everything's getting stun 2. He got access to echo attacks that are free with Double Fists and Trace Eyes. Wolfwood is going to be around, very strong, but I think he's outclassed a little bit. He's outclassed early by Murio. He's outclassed a little bit by Endeavor 3 and Younger Toguro in those mid to late games. I'd rather be those characters. So he's right here below. I think he's just about there, and his symbols, Death and Fire, got very, very good this set. Let's go up to another YuYu Hakusho character, a 7-hander. I think we have Kurama here in the regional contenders. This character just being able to say no to an attack, very strong. Every attack is basically getting +1 speed from the clogging the card pool, and that stacks up. He's like my boy Rinku, who I got to reveal, except much stronger with being able to say no to an attack. That gives him a pretty strong matchup. I feel like into a character like Byakko, he can play control pretty well, especially on the water symbol, in my opinion. I think the water symbol is probably his best symbol. Then he can work his way up to some massive attack, and you can't block it because you have your card pool clogged. The problem with Kurama and his main weakness is that there's not a lot of blocking going on. If people were having to block, he would be good in this format, but nobody's blocking right now. We're all using damage resets, and we're all using hand traps and things like that. And so the clogging the card pool doesn't really matter in a lot of matchups. And I think that's holding him back just a little bit because I wanted him to be up here. But unfortunately, I think right now he is simply a contender. We have a lot of 7-handers in this regional contenders box, by the way. Let me just go start grabbing them. Shigaraki 3, all of these symbols got cool new tools this set. Death, we get all of these awesome spam foundations. Again, he's going to be a good snack time character since he has so many cards in his hand. Order, you get Walk the Dog, Shinobi Prodigy, Idun Box. I think he's one of the best evil characters. I think Overhaul is probably just, Overhaul and Younger are probably the best. And then you have Shigaraki right behind them. And then speaking of the evil symbol, we have Elder Toguro. I was too low on this character when he first came out, and I've since come around. I've not come around so much to where I think he's here, but with things like Barrier Shield, Unmatched Quickness, Quick to Act, this guy gets really scary on the evil symbol. He can basically just say 0 speed, swap it, 0 damage. My next attack is still going to get Breaker 2 from the Barrier Shield. I can play anything I want from my discard pile that I need for this situation. Once he's at 10 or less health, he's getting to give all this minus speed and plus speed from Unmatched Quickness, and then he can swap those around as he needs. I think he's much better than I gave him credit for when he first came out. I should have known as Hawks, just having one swap a turn is very strong. This guy gets unlimited swaps. And then our last 7-hander of the bunch here, I have Void Edge Shot. I don't think Edge Shot got much worse. Got a new interesting 6-stiff or 6-check and the 3 Eyes of Hiei to build on the Void symbol off of Titan Cliff. Speaking of Elder Toguro, this character is giving +1 speed and +1 damage onto things. And that's going to be really nice in a format where we have all these elders swapping stats to have a character who gives stats in congruence with each other. +5, +5. There's not much elders doing about that. Unless he has just tons of speed control in his stage. It's going to be very hard for Elder to overcome the Edge Shot matchup. I think Edge Shot's positioned pretty well. Maybe the best of these 7-handers to be aggro early on. That's going to do it for my regional champions and regional contenders. These are the 14 characters that I think have a realistic shot at winning the Webcam Regional March 16th and 17th. From here, I'm going to go pretty quickly. Let's go 5-handers first here. I think Kuwabara is going to be a thing. I think Recovery Girl is just better. Recovery Girl is just doing Kuwabara's thing better at the moment. And so Kuwabara is down here, but I think he's definitely going to see a lot of play. And he really builds up this wall. And if you can't deal with it, he just murders you. I think Mimic will always be up here. We have Toga, who got a lot better this set. There's still, at least, Toga just doesn't seem to play that much defense. And I think for that reason, I would much rather be Murio, where he gets just defense on face. And then he can aggro just as well as Toga. But I really like Toga. And I think a lot of people will be playing Walk the Dog Toga. Bakugo 4, I think, got a lot better this set. We're talking about all of this damage reduction. Bakugo 4 just says, hey, your weapon clash is a blank foundation. Kuwabara, I just murder you. Like, your character says commit, give my attacks +2 damage. That's awesome. He also got Genkai's Guidance to help him out on his discard strategy. And then Frightening Calm and Snack Time together. I've already talked a lot about that combo because I think it's such a good combo on the death symbol. and Wolfwood and Shigaraki can really take advantage of it with their card advantage. But Bakugo gets Explosive Rebuke. Okay, if you have one Snack Time, one Frightening Calm on your stage, you say, give it stun 1, give it stun 1. Now it has 3 instances of stun 1. You flip a Foundation, you say, all these are now stun 2. That's stun 6. If you had 3 of those on stage, that's stun 8. Not many people are living an opening attack that says stun 8. And then you can find some way between Suited Up and his other attack, the 4-def attack that does the thing, to give all of your attacks plus 2 damage. So he gets 2 ways to kill you now. In the past, it was all through this discard strategy, and if you could play around the discard strategy, you could overcome it. Now he's got this stun strategy, this like stun 8, stun 10 possibility of an opener. So he gets 2 different ways to kill you. Thinking about the Jet Burn silly monkey characters that we got, all these 6-hand size aggro. We have Shoto 4. Shoto 4 comes up here, got a lot of tools. He got a few different tools in YuYu Hakusho to seal things. Got that like Power of Love, Kuwabara Foundation. He will just seal your entire stage and kill you. I think he was really good last set and underplayed. The only person that we saw really do well with Shoto was Andrew Porat. I think he was actually up here last set. He was in one of these. And I still think he's really good. I'll put Mount Lady. I think Mount Lady is just a cut below Edge Shot. If I was playing a Lurker, I'd rather just be Edge Shot. I think we have Vash the Stampede here. 8-hander that gives 2 speed to everything. It's hard to not like that. I think we have Spike coming to the frequent top cut list. I think that I just won a local qualifier with Water Spike, and I think that deck is pretty real. It plays the damage reduction and damage resets really, really well. He gets to draw a lot of cards. Eventually, he's giving like +4/+4. It's nice to give speed and damage in congruence with each other, similar to Edge Shot. I think 7-hand size Karasu. I think aggro 7-hand size is probably still played best by Edge Shot, but Karasu is not far behind. This character is going to murder people. My brother's been playing a lot of Karasu, might be playing him in the Wish tournament or the Webcam Regional, but he's going to murder people. The problem is he's very much a glass cannon. I think he's like the new Tokoyami 1, where he can just murder you or he can just roll over and die pretty quick. And then another 7-hander here going the complete opposite direction, a very control character. I have Jiro 2, if I can find Jiro 2. I'll put her up there, and that's going to do it for your frequent top cut list. So these are characters I could see top cutting pretty frequently, but I would be mildly surprised if they actually won the event. I think they're just outclassed in some way or in some fashion by these 14 characters. And then the occasional top cut and local champions, there's not really a big difference between these tiers. I think you can kind of take your pick of the remaining characters, just kind of on your personal opinions and biases. But I'll start off with Fourth Kind is probably never really a bad choice. Speaking of which, we also have like Mineta 2. Got a lot of things this set. Oh, I'll put Midoriya up here too. I think Rando Spirit Gun is funniest in Overhaul, but it's probably right up there too with Deku 5. I think Deku 4 also belongs in this tier, but I can't find him. Here he is. I think we can put Deku 4 here. These are the 5-handers that belong in this tier. I think Koda, the Allied Life package, got a lot better. We already saw Mike Hardiman doing really well with Koda. And so it's not going to surprise me if Koda top cuts. It really won't. It will shock me if Koda wins. But to say Koda top cutted with all the cool new tools that the Life Ally package got, it would not shock me. Rappa plays Double Fist of the Mortal Flame really well. So Rappa will be up next. I've got Ochako 4. Got some support with the Battle Aura release. Is very nice in this character. Asui 3 is just one of those characters that's never bad, but never quite good enough to be like up here. Let's see. Genkai, I think, belongs in this occasional top cut. Could do some damage. damage reduction on face, can give lots of damage to throws, gets to have destined for mainstream success on face. Speaking of seven-handers, aggro seven-handers, I think that Toga 1 is interesting with like Hiei's SR that says this gets more stun for losing a health. So Hiei's SR says stun 2 on it now. And then if Toga can find some other way to lose a health, then that's stun 3 as an opener. That's going to be really good when you get to see 9 cards a turn. The alleyway ambush gamer Toga is probably still very alive. You now get like 45% power for high 4 draw card that Toga can work with. I think I'm not ready to give up on Nejire yet. And finally, 7-hander, the ultimate aggro 7-hander, Dabi 2, I think got a lot of support this set. And that on the fire symbol, he has access to Trace Eyes and Double Fist, 2 free echo attacks. He's going to be adding 3 damage onto him. Really good Sugar Rush power-up character. I think there's a lot of different directions you could take Dabi 2 right now. Somebody is going to crack that code. Very, very good. Maybe he's the best aggro character to take advantage of the free echo attacks. It's either him or Karasu. And then the local champions, yeah, Muscular just did really well at a webcam event. If you go and look at that Muscular deck, it had hardly any set 1 cards in it. I think it was like a couple copies of Hardened Jab. Yeah, there was like less than 10 set 1 cards in it. I think Earth got a lot better of a damage reduction package. So this might be a little silly that I put Muscular in my top 50, but he's going to do that really well. He's kind of similar to Kuwabara and Recovery Girl. I just think that both of these characters are doing it better than him. If I'm going to play that DR package, I'd just rather be Kuwabara or Recovery Girl if I'm going to do it in 5-hander. I think Bowie is definitely up here in the top 50. Very good and sealed, but I underestimated him. And he gets Spaceland and Cheerleader on the water symbol. On the Earth symbol, he can use like BMI Buster to cancel your action that you thought you were going to reset. His +10/+10 move. You know, he's going to use BMI Buster and say, no thanks. And can definitely just absolutely annihilate you. Mina 2, I think, belongs in the top 50. This character doesn't get any defense on face beyond face downs, not counting towards progressive. Does benefit from Trace Eyes, flipping face down to where it doesn't count towards progressive. If it deals damage, they're going to take all the damage for the face downs. I think she's scary, but I think people putting Mina 2 up here are just out of their minds. She belongs down here. She's in the conversation now, which is better than like Mina 2 could ever say in the past. This might shock some people, but it's not going to shock Brett if Brett is in chat. But I have Dabi 1 in my top 50. I think Hate Fish is really, really funny. That you can say double the next damage bonus that this attack gets. Then you're going to give it 8 damage and throw. That's going to become 16 damage and throw. Then you plus the 3, plus the 1 from the one before. So like all in all, Hate Fish, I think, becomes a 27 damage throw just on face with Dabi. That, yeah, not many characters can deal with that. Eraserhead 2 feels like he's always right here. He's good. He's done some interesting things in the past. All Might 7 got a lot of support if I can find All Might 7. The ranged and weapon package definitely got a lot better. He got the Echo Attack, Yusuke's Echo Attack, 4 mid 6. It's going to be a 6 mid 6 in All Might 7. He gets to use it twice. If it deals at any point, he's going to draw 2 cards. On Chaos, he gets Walk the Dog. You get Ice Sword Execution on Chaos. He definitely got a lot better. I think that Dataro Sakaki also comes up in here. One of the biggest reasons that Sakaki was held back in the past was simply because of It Can't Be Fixed. Because It Can't Be Fixed responds to character effects and non-character effects. But with that 0 diff finally gone from the game, I think Sakaki can easily say that he's top 50. I finally found him. Ryukyu, boring, but still going to aggro a lot of people. All for One is completely outclassed by Younger, but that doesn't mean he's not somewhat good. Inasa comes up into here. I think Suzuki from this set is here. In terms of seven-handers, I've got Faye. When these characters were first released, I thought Faye was going to be like up here somewhere. And then after actually playing against Faye and playing a few different variants of Faye, I think that Nejire is just better in every way. That might be kind of a hot take, but Nejire is just straight up better than Faye. Yusuke comes into here. The spirit package just needed to be a little bit better for this guy to come up a little higher. And then I think we got Shishi Wakamaru at the last of our local champions. And that is going to do it. This is your top 50, with my top 6 characters being Amajiki, Jin, Younger Toguro, Endeavor 3, Overhaul, and Murio. If you're planning to truly win in Las Vegas or at the Webcam Regional, you have to practice your matchups against these 6 characters. If there's any of these matchups that you feel like you don't match up well against, you have to have sideboard answers. I don't think with these 6 characters you can just say, oh, I just plan not to play them. You've got to have answers in your sideboard to at least give yourself a chance to win the game. These are the ones that you're going to have to be prepared for. So what are your thoughts about this list? Let me know in the comments below. On all of these tier lists, I always get people saying, what are you doing? This character is so underrated, or you are way too high on this character. And I honestly really like those kind of comments. I love a good debate. So let me know what you think in the comments below. That is going to do it for me.